Hey guys, this video will be about the candidates running for president in 2020. I will be going over the candidates on the Democratic side as well as the Republican side, so stay tuned. Thank you. So the candidates that are all in right now are Julian Castro, which is the former Housing and Urban Development Secretary, John Delaney, which is a former Maryland representative, Tulsi Gabbard, a Hawaii representative, and Kamala Harris, a California senator. The ones that formed exploratory committees are Pete Buttigieg, South Bend, Indiana mayor, Kirsten Gillibrand, which is my supportee, which is the person I support because I like her, which is a New York senator, and Elizabeth Warren, a Massachusetts senator. So these are all the Democrats who filed exploratory committees and or are running for president currently. Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Julian Castro, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, President Donald Trump, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang. Donald Trump is the only Republican who is currently announced he's running for president. He was elected at the San Antonio City Council in 2001 at the age of 26, which is one of the youngest council members in San Antonio history. He is the first Hispanic person to give a keynote speech at the 2012 Democratic National Convention. Also in 2014, President Obama named Castro Housing and Urban Development Secretary. He was actually considered for a vice presidential nominee for Hillary Clinton, although she lost. So in October, he announced the creation of an exploratory committee for a presidential run. But on December 12th, he officially announced his candidacy for president on January 12th. Let's go over his views on LGBT issues and abortion rights. He supports LGBT rights, and he was the first San Antonio mayor to serve as the Grand Marshal of the city's Pride Parade in 2009 and joined mayors across the country in signing the Mayors for the Freedom to Marry petition for the same-sex marriage equality in 2012. He also supports rights of women to have an abortion. He spoke at the annual luncheon for Planned Parenthood South Texas in May. There was some controversy surrounding the 2016 office of the special counsel. The investigative body felt that Castro had violated the Hatch Act by commenting on the 2016 presidential campaign during an interview about local issues. Castro then apologized and ordered his team to improve training on the Hatch Act in this department. This is what Donald Trump thinks about Julian Castro. He says that Castro has not been yet targeted for Castro has not yet been targeted for President Trump. Unlike some of the other presidential nominees and candidates, he has not been targeted. You know, that's surprising because we always see Donald Trump attacking fellow political activists and potential enemies. We saw that with Hillary Clinton, and we saw that with Elizabeth Warren. Some key issues that Julian Castro cares about is affordable college, care for seniors, and universal health care. He says no matter where we're from, we're united by the same daily needs: a good job, a good education for our kids, good health care, and an affordable place to live. He says that we hope our children have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. Next on the list is Kirsten Gillibrand. A little bit about her. She was born in 1966, and she's not the first woman in her family to become involved in politics. Her grandmother was the founder of the influential Albany Democratic Club and was a major player in Albany's Mayor Erastus Corning's political machine. So Gillibrand was the daughter of two attorneys, and she was raised in New York, Albany. She attended a UCLA School of Law. She worked in a Manhattan-based law firm in the early 1990s. She was a strong supporter of Hillary Clinton and worked on her 2000 Senate campaign. Clinton actually became a mentor to Gillibrand and encouraged Gillibrand to run for office in 2006 rather than 2004, believing that running 2 years later would give her a greater chance of winning. Gillibrand defeated four-term Rep. John Sweeney, who represented a conservative district, in 2006. Gillibrand was a moderate congresswoman and a member of the conservative Democratic Blue Dog Caucus. She supported a bill to withhold funds from sanctuary cities and received a 100% rating from the National Rifle Association. After Clinton left the Senate in 2009 to become a Secretary of State, Governor David Paterson appointed Gillibrand to replace her. She has become more progressive during her time in the Senate. Kirsten Gillibrand also proposed legislation that would remove sexual assault cases from the military chain of command in 2013. This legislation, which would co-sponsor Republican Senators Rand Paul and Ted Cruz, the legislation failed. It raised her profile as an advocate for women. She actually ran on healthcare and thinks that healthcare is a really important issue since she entered the Senate. So, what President Trump thinks about Kirsten Gillibrand? He tweeted at Gillibrand in December 2017 after she called on the president to resign due to sexual misconduct allegations against him. I think that's unimaginable. Lightweight Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a total flunky for Chuck Schumer and someone who would come to my office begging for campaign contributions not so long ago, is now in the ring fighting against Trump, very disloyal to Bill and Crooked U.S. Wow, that's such a mean tweet by Trump to attacking Kirsten Gillibrand, but hey, he's been attacking congresswomen for years. Next on the list is Elizabeth Warren. She was one of the first women to run for president. She was born in 1949 and raised in Oklahoma, where her father worked as a janitor and her mother took a minimum wage job at Sears. She was described as giving a paycheck to paycheck, growing up in a paycheck to paycheck family. So she was in the middle class, apparently. She served as a law professor for 3 decades and spent 20 of those years at Harvard Law School, Massachusetts. Rep. Joe Kennedy III and Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton were among her students there. That's very interesting, actually. After the Great Recession, Warren was tapped to lead the Congressional Oversight Panel for the Troubled Asset Relief Program known as TARP. She served in many committees. Warren was reelected in 2018 and announced an exploratory committee for a presidential run December 31st. Warren has built a national brand as an economic populist and anti-Wall Street crusader. Warren actually pushes for more accountability in the economy and pledged to go after drug companies. The problem is Washington works great for those with influence. Warren also came out against political action committees to fund the campaigns. Democrats are the party of the people. We join together and we fund our campaigns, she told reporters. We make our campaigns work through the people. I kind of like how she said that. It gives them a sense of herself and her personality. So I'll be supporting her, but I do not think she'll win the presidency, but we'll have to wait and see this. What Trump thinks about her, he's repeatedly called her Pocahontas, which I think is kind of funny, but at the same time kind of not, and kind of just simply mean. It's borderline bullying. So Warren frequently taunted Mr. Trump during the 2016 campaign. Now let's move on to the final Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris, which I think has the best chance out of all these people. Harris was born in Oakland in 1964 and raised in a multicultural household. Her mother, Shamala Gopalan Harris, was a scientist from India, and her father, Donald Harris, an economics professor at Stanford University, was born in Jamaica. Whoa, half Jamaican and half Indian. That's interesting. Harris went to high school in Canada, where her mother worked as a hospital researcher and college professor. She returned to the U.S. to go to college at Howard University, a historical black university in Washington, D.C., and then went on to attend law school at the University of California, Hastings. Upon graduation, Harris stayed in the Golden State and worked for the Alameda County District Attorney's Office in Oakland. In 2003, she was elected San Francisco District Attorney, a position that had never been held by a woman or person of color. During her 10-year tenure as the city's chief law enforcement officer, Harris spearheaded efforts to curb high recidivism rates among released prisoners and created a nationally recognized reentry program for nonviolent first-time drug offenders. Some key issues that Kamala Harris is running on is the votes against President Trump's nominees for cabinet levels and other administration positions. She also opposed the legalization of recreational marijuana during her law enforcement career in California, but she announced her support for the Marijuana Justice Act crafted by Senator Cory Booker, Democrat from New Jersey, which I may add also, he is actually running for president as well. He just announced, I think it was last night, from when this is being made. In October, Harris unveiled new tax legislation aimed at the middle class to give families up to $6,000 a year in refundable tax credits, which she will likely highlight on the 2020 campaign trail. Some controversy surrounding the challenge of a progressive prosecutor. The White House has previously criticized the California senator. Trump has lashed out at her in the summer of 2018. So Trump has lashed out on everyone pretty much. We also have Pete Buttigieg who's running. We have John Delaney who's running. And we have, is that it? Yup, that is it. So, how much time we got left? I'm at 13 minutes. Thank you all so much for watching. Please tune into the next episode, and I appreciate your time. Goodbye.